Oh, your sister Darren's in here. Hey, hello, Darren. Hey,
Hey,
Christine.
there.
Hey, Karen.
You know, the smoke today is all just come over LA from all our fires and stuff. And it's smoky and it's red. And we were there when our house burned down. And I know that smoke brings up some bad memories. Just, it gets all eerie. You know, the sky's all red and the smell. Ugh.
I thought somebody had posted that there was rain somewhere in California. Is that somewhere farther south?
I would say north. If it was anywhere, it might be north. I don't know. You turn on the news, you see flooding here, flooding there. The Great Lakes today have 20-foot wave. There's water everywhere but California.
Did they do a whole movie about the water shortage? Isn't that what Chinatown's all about?
And that was a few years ago, too. Well,
Some
hi,
things never change.
Sorry we're late. I was having too much fun going through all the old pictures and everything. You had to call me, go, hello? And then, of course, I told you, oh, let's just do it the easy way. Let's do the Facebook. And we tried looking into that. That didn't seem to work too well.
I think I'll set up a dummy account and then you and I can practice.
You calling me a dummy?
No, I said a dummy account.
Oh.
Listen to all the words. Words matter, Darby. Anyway, so it's nice to see you. Oh my gosh, it's been you've been busy. How was Oklahoma? I see you have the big sign behind you. Yes.
The Western Heritage Awards. It was great. Here, I'll take it. You know, it's funny, I didn't get a shot of the room for the big banquet at night. This was lunch. And since they didn't have, this was the luncheon. Since they didn't have the awards last year, they did both years this year. That's why there was 2 Lifetime Achievement Awards. And also they took a little page out of the Oscars and they did a luncheon for books and poems and literature. And so they kind of split it up. And so this was the luncheon on Saturday or Friday. I don't know, these days run into each other, but this was the luncheon. So a little less formal, but it was really nice. Really nice. And Barry and I, let me see if I can do this. Barry and I, it was so much fun having Barry there. They had a picture of Bobby, so I.
Oh, there you go.
So I'm like, where are you, Bobby? But that's Bobby Carradine when he was back there. I guess that was a few years ago. So there's Barry and I. Up there, he's such a character. I love Barry. He's an actor's actor. We had a lot of fun together.
Well, that was funny. It was your man on the street interview. Did you invite him to be on our show?
I just said we were there. We went out together. He and his wife, another person I love, Joe. And before we met everybody for dinner, we said, let's go do some sightseeing. So we did, and I looked at my watch and I got to check in. Would you mind, being on? He goes, no, come on, Don, let's do it.
He was funny.
Oh, he is funny. And he's got that dry humor too, when he just looks at you, you're like, okay. Yeah, here is his wife. So that's Joe.
Aw, she's cute.
Oh, she's adorable. And she takes such great care of him.
What in the world is that behind you? What is that?
We were very honored to get to go to the first American museum the evening before its grand opening. So this was a little, they threw it for the celebs, a little dinner there, and we got to see some of the museum, and it's wonderful. And I just learned that we're not supposed to call, let's see if I say call them. Anyway, we're not supposed to call people Indians anymore. They're first Americans.
Oh.
See, you didn't know?
No.
Ginger, if you didn't know that, I grew up Israel, okay? If I didn't know it.
Well, I grew up in the era of cowboys and Indians, and I have to say cowboys and
First
what are they? First Americans. All right. The world, the times they are changing. So what highlights in the museum? Anything you can tell us as far as highlights? Did you get to walk around the museum or did they just
Yes, yeah, I got to walk around just a little bit. It was a late evening by the time we got everything going, and I knew it was going to be an early day. But it was just the grounds were wonderful. The sunset, I should have more pictures of that. And it was, it's just all about our first Americans,
Oh, so it's all about the
Indian.
first American. I know, it's gonna get too confusing. So it's just Indians then. It's all just their
Right.
lore and their history.
Right. We were there for the Western Heritage Museum, which is in the northern part of the city. And I guess they've been working on this, they say, for like 30 years or something. It was like a
Oh.
big, long project. And the building is wonderful. Let me see if I have another shot of just the entrance, which each stone represented something. This is just walking into it.
Oh, wow, look at that. That's gorgeous.
It really is. And you can see how the glass tower goes up forever. And unfortunately, I was saying how nice it was to be in the Western Heritage Museum, which is just a phenomenal place. If you're anywhere near the city, you got to go see it. But it's so much more interesting to go on a museum. If you've ever read the book, The Artist's Way, it's called An Artist's Date, where you take yourself out. Because, growing up with 5 kids, I went through a lot of museums, but usually you're running from one thing to the other, and it's whatever's flashing or the most, to go in by yourself, to be able to look at something that interests you and then read about it. Actually, sit there and not wonder if it was a great time. Just to show you the kind of exhibits that the Western Heritage Museum has. This is a whole outside area they just built.
Wow. Look at
And they
that.
were showing some of the early first American habitats and how they lived. And I'm so proud of Wyatt and all the people on the board that have really kept that museum going and alive. It's amazing. It's now all about cowboys.
So how is our friend Wyatt and Lisa? They doing good?
They were great. Everybody was great. Here, I have that wonderful group picture, which, and I apologize, that's how busy I have been. I haven't even had a chance to get on and do likes and do on my Facebook. But this was backstage waiting with Duvall, and I didn't even name everybody. I should have seen if anybody else could name everybody here. But
You named most everybody, I think.
well, of course, we got Barry. We got Wyatt McCrae, who was on the board. His grandfather, Joel McCrae, is one of the people that started the museum. And also, Wyatt's really active, keeping it all alive, which I love. Some bearded cowboy guy. Lincoln, who I love, he's on the board too. He's a producer and he's on the board, and he's a great guy, great cowboy.
Who, the guy standing next to you
Yes.
on the other side? Okay.
Right? Yes. I got to get my lefts and my rights going.
Yeah, there you
By
go.
the end of this, Ginger, I'm going to be able to be a weatherman.
Just careful where your pointer, just careful where your pointer goes.
And we all know big Bruce Boxleitner, who's great. I have some great pictures. He was out there, so much fun. And then I bet a lot of people didn't know who this is. Lovely lady, so sweet and nice. That is Lucinda, and that is Robert's wife of 16 years, Robert Duvall's wife. And again, she was great, takes great care of him. And then, of course, we got Rex Lynn, which has been in everything. Young Sheldon, I see him now, and just so many things. And I didn't get a picture with his wife, who I think is one of the most adorable creatures, which is Reba McEntire. And,
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
and to see the two of them together, they are so much fun and just cracking jokes all the time. Very cute couple, love them. So, yeah, I was in excellent company and having a great time in the stories that were being told.
Now, who did you and Barry present to?
Aha! Just in case you asked.
I am curious. Well,
Mhm.
somebody had posted the Robert Duvall speech and I guess Rex's speech, one of the Western sites had access to that, but they didn't have any of the announcers. And you had posted the young lady that sang America the Beautiful, or
America
whatever,
the
which was
Beautiful.
really
She
cool.
was wonderful. I should know her name.
Well, I liked how she got the whole crowd involved. You could hear everybody, even you, Darby. Could hear you
Really? Could you really?
diamond in there.
Sorry about that. But how
Blame
can
the,
you not
blame the guy
sing?
next to you. You couldn't see who it was, so maybe it wasn't you. I heard.
That's right. If it was off you, it was the guy next to me. If it was
Yeah.
beautiful,
It was totally
of
you.
course that was me. We got to award Lucy Griffiths, and she wrote, "We Make a Tiny Herd." And it's about her, it's a travels of a woman in a burrow in the country. And she was so sweet and nice that she sold out of all her books. She said, it's you because you announced. And I'm like, no, I think it was your writing that got you the award and got everybody to get the book. So that's who I presented it to. And I can't remember who Barry did. But then the second night, the actual banquet night, that was with, they finally split me up. And that's because, well, I'll tell you that later. So that's either, and she was great. You can see
Look at you in the black cowboy hat with your matching tuxedo. That's very classy.
Well, every now and then I can get dressed up, you know.
That would look great with your new gun belt and all that.
Listen, listen, when you're hanging with people like that, and then I gotta say, I was really amazed. You know, I've heard his music, I like his music, but until he started reading off his list of achievements, were even more than Elvis. I think he's just under the Beatles, a top 10 every year for I don't know how many decades, but George Strait. So those were the two Lifetime Achievement Awards, Robert Duvall and then George Strait.
I think they posted those two speeches. I'll have to find them and I'll try to repost them in your group.
See, they're right on top of it.
I don't remember what group I saw it. I have to go searching for it because it wasn't the Heritage Museum. It was somebody else on their behalf. So I don't know if it was whoever filmed it. So.
Oh.
But anyway, so you're not doing the Cowboy Way. That's what's supposed to be October? No.
Cowboy Way was canceled. Not that I'm not doing it.
So you're doing Lone Pine instead?
I am doing Lone Pine, which Bobby's very thrilled because he's like, great, we'll go up there.
Is he gonna make you ride his motorcycle or are you guys gonna drive?
Well, I don't know. There's an outside chance I might have to go up. So this is Lone Pine. This is when we take on, it's such a fun little town. And actually that's Bobby in the hat on the left. And that's Jeff. We have a great time. So
Are you gonna get to ride horses again in the parade? Are they doing the parade again?
I just had to give them my weight so they could get a horse big enough for me. And I have to say, between Art Matrano and Dawn and a few other people, I was doing some comfort food there for a little while. End of the pandemic, but it's not the end of the pandemic, but we can go up, but let's not go out. But
so we can check you out at Lone Pine. So what weekend is that? That's not this weekend, that's next weekend? Is that the first weekend of October? When is that?
now you're asking me the pertinent question. I think it's this coming up weekend. No, it isn't. No, it's not this very weekend. No. It is the 7th. Actually. Oh, I got a couple weeks. Hey, I got a couple weekends.
So it's literally the same weekend as Cowboy Way was then, huh?
Right.
7th to the 10th. Excellent. All right.
Yeah.
Very nice. And then, of course, you have Williamsburg, November 11th to 13th. That's still going down.
That is still happening.
So that'll be nice. And then
I've been trying to plan a little side trip maybe to see grandson. That'll be fun.
How far away is that from Williamsburg? That's a little bit of a hike, isn't it?
Just a little airline flight away.
Oh, you'd fly over there?
Well, I'm flying to I don't know. I've been thinking, should I drive out there? because I also have to go back to Kansas and finish filming Contested Planes. So
that's right. You get to tell us details now about
so
your
it's like, okay,
secret
so
project.
we'll go do Contested Planes, drive to Contested Planes, which is in the middle of nowhere. They said, yeah, we'll fly into Denver. It's about a 3-hour car ride. Okay. And then drive from there to, where's the next place? Williamsburg. No, from there to Asheville. Spend time with the grandson, and then Asheville, Williamsburg, and then drive Williamsburg back to LA. But the difference is, instead of being gone just a couple of different few weekends, I'd be gone a total of 4 weeks. So
Wow. Why? How much more you got to do on the new project?
about 10 days.
Really? So they didn't really do that much when you were there before, huh?
We did about half of it.
Really? Wow. And is that going to be a feature film, or is that supposed to be like on TV, or they don't know yet?
Docudrama, I believe.
Very nice. And you're allowed to say the title now?
I'm just sitting here wondering, because yes, I'm allowed to talk about the title and the other things, and I think we wrangled one of these cowboys that I've been showing you into narrating it, which will be fun.
Oh, the whole thing, the whole event?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, the docudrama. So that'll be good fun.
Which ones are you allowed to tell us, or not until it's
signed
in ink? To our 4 closest friends that are here attending with us tonight.
I know they were talking, I kind of put them together and everybody seemed to be very happy, but I have no idea if things were signed on the dotted line and stuff. So
yeah, it's true. You really can't say it until it's on the dotted line.
No, that's just something with me. I won't talk about anything that I'm going to go. My sisters will tell you. Darren's on here. She'll tell you. I don't talk about anything I'm doing until like the 3rd day of shooting.
Well, you're smart, because everybody else is constantly running their mouth and posting stuff. So there you go. You're old school. We like that. That's what I appreciate about you.
Well, and then if the project doesn't happen, they'll thought, well, why didn't it? And I don't know if it's become a bad luck thing, if I even believe in that or not, but that's one of the things that was holding me back from flying out and seeing Don at the end and just being able to be on the phone with him a lot, is that I was on a bail for something. And for those of you not in the business, on a bail means, yes, you've gone through the audition part. Yes, we really like you and this other guy. So don't go anywhere. Don't do anything. Don't commit to anything. Be here and we'll let you know if we're going with you or the other guy.
But they don't have to pay you for your time. They just tell you. So it's not like a hold. It's just an unavail.
It's a veil. They want you on a veil. They want you to be available.
At their beck and call, huh? Hashtag the actor's life. I don't know. Yeah, but that's why you're such a class act. Speaking of, I finished Greydon Clark's book. And of course, I was telling you that I read, or that he did your whole segment about, what's your sci-fi one? The future?
We did Dark Future.
Dark Future. So you can find that on YouTube, as well as you can find it on Tubi. So I watched it one night. You're in it a bunch, but I'll have to read the whole section again about when he asked you to be in the movie. What?
You sound so surprised.
Well, some of them you're only in a portion, like uninvited. You're just in the opening, and then you're a head in the shack. Like that one you're not. Oh, but one of the stories, and we really should get Greydon Clark on here. He sounds like he'd be really interesting. But one of the stories he talks about is the Mike Hammer episode he called you to be in. Was it Mike Hammer? That's the one with Stacy Keach, right?
Right.
And how you were his first call, and you were like the first professional actor that they had on there. And that was an interesting tale.
Say that to Stacy.
What's that?
I said, don't say that to Stacy. He might not like that.
Well, he was the executive producer, but they were saying they hadn't really surrounded him with any really named people. And because they were trying to keep the budget low, they were trying to do this and that. And that was one of the things Greydon tried. But because he was such a low budget guy and always trying to save him money and do whatever, they didn't know what to do with him. And nobody seemed to really like him.
And that was actually a little studio up in Ojai that they wanted Graydon to help maybe, help run it and get it going and get Hollywood back up there. They had a little bit of a challenge since it was out of LA, it could be non-union. So that kind of ran into some things and stuff. But yeah, I remember that was out of the little, what was the name of that? They did a couple of shows up there. The one where I'm the head, and I'm just in it for like the opening part of it.
Yeah.
Graydon came to me and apologized. I go, look, Darby, the reason I want to cast you in this is because I want them to think that you're going to be, one of the leads that goes all the way through, and then boom, you get killed, right in the beginning. So nobody's going to know who dies. Because he had somebody else with me that was a big name too. That got
Cameron Mitchell.
Yeah. I mean, come on, Cameron Mitchell, right? They killed him off too. So. And then maybe I should share the story with Graydon, but then, yeah, they did that whole life mask of me. And, you had to sit there with the tubes up your nose and do it. Now I'm like, oh, can I have this afterwards? I really want this, for my collection. This will be great and everything. I got on set and saw it, and it turned my stomach. It was so creepy and so gross. I'm like, you can have it. Thank you very much.
Oh, were you going to try to keep it?
Yeah, hey, that was a fun thing to have on the mantle.
Oh my gosh.
My half-eaten face.
I keep telling Bob he should read Graydon's book because it was a lot of the same stories, but it was interesting that, Bob's tried to distribute in the business on this coast, and Graydon was in LA and still had trouble with all the different deals and trying to make money. But I ended up watching the Lambada, which is the other one, the dancing one, which was funny. And it had Sid Haig in it, who I was like, why does that guy look so familiar? He's like a real famous horror guy. Like he's done all this horror stuff. And he's like, in it. Anyways, it was kind of, and it had a very young Kenny Johnson who's still around, who's like the nerdy whatever. A lot of the people he cast are still in the business. He really had an eye for talent.
He cast big names back then, and then he did some of the first things that people did. They came in and went on to do the Miami show.
Oh, Miami CSI.
Yes. What was the lead?
CSI Miami? Oh yeah, David Caruso.
David Caruso.
He discovered David Caruso. He also discovered Andrew Dice Clay. He gave him his first job too, which is interesting. He had a lot of names. It was impressive. So if you haven't read his book, although it's funny, every time he has you say something, he calls you Darcy, not Darby. There's a typo in
the book. Oh, now we have to.
This is funny. Apparently you haven't read it.
Now we have to have him on.
I know.
No, I did read his book. I don't remember that.
Anytime, like he has as a script format kind of thing. Anytime it quoted you, it said Darcy, not Darby.
I get probably just went right through it. It's funny when I read his book and he told the whole story about wanting to do the movie with me as a young Indian. I have that picture. I never knew why I took that picture. But I remember at the studio, there was a break in shooting, and they're like, come on. And they did the whole Indian makeup from head to toe with the loincloth and the bow and the arrow. And they got all the pictures. And obviously Mom was getting those to send to Graydon and go, yeah, he can do it. See, he can play an Indian. Not today, I can't, because it's not even an Indian. It's a first American.
Now you get to be a first American. But anyways, we digress. So we just have our three who are thankful that you guys are here. Who else we got? We got a couple questions, I think. Christine Flynn says, hi, great to see you both. Christine also says, you clean up real nice, Darby. Love the tux. I like that you had the matching hat, but you didn't wear your little pin. You should have wore your little Darby pin.
I know. I was going to. And one of the things I wore it, I don't know, you get around, Duval and Reba and all these people, and it's like, I shouldn't, but I did. I thank the people that checked in because it is Thursday. And you guys will probably be the only ones see this because I don't know if we'll repost this. This has got enough to do. As you're fading in and out of the beach.
I know, I should have worn a green shirt. That was not so smart as I'm out here on the beach. Fading into the sunset as we go.
But I do like your train photo. Is that in honor of your dad?
Actually, I'm on this site that's like rails. Oh, it's trains.com, and they post all these different train pictures, and I just happened to like that one, so I grabbed that one. I thought that was cool with the little steam train going across the.
No,
But every time we go to Tahoe, we always try to ride the steam train from Carson City to Virginia City. So I was kind of missing my Lake Tahoe connection. Although we had a nice time in Fort Lauderdale. It was nice. We got to see the horses run and got our gambling in. And
you go to a highlight game?
no, but they have Calder, which used to have horses, got rid of the horses and are now, or they didn't get rid of the horses, obviously, but they bulldozed the horse track and made it a fronton. So they actually have added a new fronton, which is.
And do they still do dog racing?
No, that's officially illegal
Yeah.
in Florida, which is interesting because the place that was called Mardi Gras, that's now called the Big Easy. The only way they had gambling or they had a casino is because you had to, in Florida, they had voted in the county, because there's the Seminole ones, which are the Hard Rock, which are under First American law. And then there's these Florida ones that are just in Broward County that voted in the county that if you already had like a horse racing or dog racing or a fronton, you could build a casino. So but there's no smoking in them because there's no smoking in Florida. So they're under Florida law. But
There's no
now that,
smoking in Florida?
well, no, I mean, in restaurants and buildings, they, like they
Florida,
did in
where
New
you
York.
can do whatever you want. We're free. Don't tell us what to do. We will do it if we want to.
Hey, they were all wearing their masks in the casino, so that was good.
All
No
right.
chaos gambling, people. We take it very seriously. But anyway, so I don't know. Now that it's not called Mardi Gras, it's now called the Big Easy. And obviously there's no dog racing. So I don't know what they're going to do as far as either they got grandfathered in or I don't know. We didn't get any answers. So, but that's what our week was. But so Darren said, it is true. I hear more on these Zooms than he ever tells us, his family. Hey, we do have to give a shout out to Darren though, because doesn't she have her Striper group is supposed to have some special documentary that's coming out? I saw her post a trailer about it. Darren, you need to chime in here and tell us when that's supposed to run.
I've been so bad I'm on Facebook. I don't know. And like I said, I need to call my sister and see what's going on. It
Yeah,
is
your group's been so quiet.
crazy. Back.
So I'm fading out. I do. I feel like I'm melting.
I know you like.
No, it's so weird. And welcome, Stacy Schaefer. She made it. We lost one, but we gained one. So we're still at four strong.
Go on Darren Hinton's Facebook, and I'm sure she'll have the Striper information.
Yes, she didn't chime in here. Maybe she's typing a long story here.
We'll talk a little bit more than the morning of to see what we're going to do next Thursday.
Well, no. Oh, so you will be around next Thursday. It's the following Thursday. You'll be in Lone Pine.
Yes, since you asked, I thought next Thursday was Lone Pine, but since you asked me and we looked it up, yes, evidently I will be here.
Perhaps we should get back to Daniel Boone.
I
I miss our buddies in Boonesboro.
I remember that show. All right, well, let's think of a good Boone episode. Maybe we should put it out. Maybe we should put it out to the group. What do they want to? Which one?
See what's left. See if they want to. What they want to see you in. But I kind of miss our old Daniel Boone episodes. We haven't watched one in a while. We've been so busy. Life's been crazy.
All right, we'll pick one.
Anyway, well, Darby, it's always a joy to see you.
Good to see you.
Better late than never.
Glad you had fun in Florida, and we'll talk soon.
Sounds good. Everybody, thank you for showing up tonight. We appreciate. Oh, wait, Darren did post something. Hold on. Yes, they are in the new movie, The Jesus Music, and I'm going to do the Chris Jericho World Wrestling Cruise with Striper next month. Chris Jericho, the wrestler. Oh my gosh, that's hysterical. All right, so if anybody wants more details on that, look for Darren on her Facebook page or she's DarrenHinton.com. Chris Jericho, there's a name I hadn't heard in a long time. The Jesus Music. All right, well, we'll post some details.
Can you imagine those wrestlers at the buffet on a cruise ship?
Well, they're so health conscious now. Somebody posted a picture of themselves with Lex Luger from the other day, and he's lost a bunch of weight. I have a picture from like the 80s with him when he was, younger. So I was surprised to see they're all getting older, Darby, and they have to worry about.
On that note, I'll see you later, Ginger.
All right. Good night, everybody. Thanks for being here.
Bye.
We'll talk to Darby.